All right, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are at. Welcome to Mentor Mornings. This is the first one in like a year that I've been on, but guys, I've been busy. I've been busy working on Flow Blend, and I wanted to come here and talk to you because I just had like this spark of thought this morning, and I was like, man, I got to get on here and talk to these guys because I haven't talked to you guys in a really long time. So, the thought, your mind is a weapon, use it like one. It just hit me. So like we're given this tool at birth called a mind, and we develop it as we go. We go through our experiences, our learning experiences as children. That's the events that happen to us, the way that we're raised, the schooling that we go through. And then as we turn into adults, nobody really talks to us about how do we take care of this tool lodged behind our eyes and in between our ears, because it's one of the most important things that we have as we grow up. So we've heard things like diet, we've heard things like exercise, we've heard about those methods or those tools that we can use to optimize our body, but nobody ever really talks about taking care of this. And this is the main thing that's going to get us through all the challenges and the things that we try to do with our lives. Like if you have goals, like what are your goals? What are you trying to reach for? Is it just another day? Is it just getting through another day? Or do you have something that you're ultimately going for? Fitma, good morning to you. It's good to see you on here. So, all right, so check this out. Like I said, we're given this tool and we're not really told how to use it, how to develop it. And I just wanted to touch on this because it hit me so hard this morning. And that's that, like every single day that we wake up, we have our mood. We have this level that we're at. And so if we wake up, like, you know, the old sayings, on the right side of the bed or the wrong side of the bed, it really depends, or it's going to impact what we're going to do for that day, is it not? Like if I wake up in a excuse my language, in a crappy mood in the morning, I can tell you that my work performance is going to decrease. If I wake up in a good mood, then my work performance is going to be top notch. And so that's where it all comes down to. So what are the tools that you can use? Like what are the levers that you can pull? Just like if you're like looking at business, you have levers that you can use to impact the performance of your business. You can do the same thing with your mind. And so I just want to touch on a few of these right now, just give you guys my thoughts on this. So the first thing, the first tool, the first lever that you can pull to treat your mind like a weapon is that, like let's just talk guns for a second. If you have a gun, you're not going to leave it outside in the rain laying in the dirt. You're not going to do that. And it's the same thing with our mind. If you have a sword, the same thing. So think about this, diet. And when I say diet, I'm not just talking about the food that we put in our mouth. The food that we put in our mouth, absolutely critical to our mental performance and how we're going to feel day in and day out. I don't know about you guys, but I have over the years finally tuned and figured out what impacts my mind and how certain foods impact my mind. So a high sugar diet is going to lead to inflammation in the brain. Inflammation is the absolute thing that you want to stay away from. Inflammation can lead to things, all sorts of diagnoses that I'm not going to give you on here, but inflammation in the brain can lead to feelings of just negative feelings, like bad moods. And I have found personally for myself, I'll give you an example. It was maybe about a month ago. I ate some chocolate before bed. As a result of eating that dark chocolate before bed, I got a really lousy night of sleep. And because I got a really lousy night of sleep and my insulin levels were elevated during the night, the next morning when I woke up, I didn't feel on top of my game. And in order to correct it, I fasted until like maybe about 2 p.m. So, we have these tools, we have these levers that we can use, right? And that's exciting because that means that the power lies inside of your hands to take control of where you're at mentally, like where you're at inside of your mind. So we have the tools, we have the levers to pull of physical food. That means staying away from sugar, reducing the inflammation inside of our mind, staying away from the fats that are not good for us. That means like vegetable oils are terrible, guys. Canola oil, that kind of stuff, terrible. Causes instant inflammation inside of our cells, inside of our body, and inside of our brains. So stay away from sugars, stay away from bad fats. Fitma, yes, diet certain foods hurts and helps our mind, correct. Okay, so we talked about the physical foods as a lever. Your next lever that you can pull is your mental intake. So we have this word diet. When I say diet, we're not just talking about the physical food. We're also talking about what are we allowing inside of our brains. I remember when I was like 19, 20, me and all my buddies, we'd listen to all kinds of music. And a lot of it was like, I go back and I think about it, like the stuff that was coming in, like the words, the messages of the songs, we all know, we hear it, like it's terrible stuff. And I remember the moment that I thought about it, I was like, why am I listening to this stuff? And so I immediately cut it out of my life and I started listening to music that made me feel good. And like with our minds, we are what we feed it. And so if we're feeding it bad stuff, guys, like all the men out there that are watching this, if you're looking at porn, you're feeding your mind porn. And I have done everything I can to cut that out of my life because I know that the long-term repercussions, the thought patterns that it creates, it cuts us off at our knees. It makes us so freaking weak. And we need our power right now. Like if you have your goals that you're going after, you have things you're going after, you need that power inside of your mind and body to be able to go forward with complete power. So we have our diet. That's the physical food that we intake, and it's also what we allow mental intake. It's what we allow ourselves to feed our mind because that creates our reality. That means, so instead of listening to crappy music, we listen to something that feels good. Instead of scrolling through Instagram, we read a book that feeds us in the direction or path that we want to go forward. If you're interested in personal development, read personal development. If you're interested in real estate, read about real estate and how you can build a wealth revenue source in that direction. The next thing is when we have a tool, like a weapon, like we have to take care of that weapon, right? Like, so if you have a sword, you have to sharpen that sword after you hack some mother truckers up. You need that thing sharp. And so with the same thing with our minds, if we're not using it to develop creativity, if we're not using it to develop and hone our logic, then it's dulls. We need to constantly be stretching our brains. So creativity, guys, that means like whatever your passion is. If you're passionate in art, then draw your heart out. Set aside, like 20 minutes a night or something where you're doing it consistently, where you're stretching your creativity. If your thing is writing music, then write music, even if you don't plan on publishing it. But just do something for your soul. Your soul needs that creativity. I've been lacking in that. And I've been thinking, well, this is my business. I'm focusing on that inside my business. So, and the other thing is logic. That means like using, where our power lies. Like Einstein said, is that you can't judge a fish by its ability to climb a tree. So when I say logic, it doesn't mean that you're sitting down crunching numbers. If that's not your jam, then don't do it. But where is it that you have that power of reasoning and logic that you can stretch? Is it verbal debate? Is it, like I said, math? Is it crunching numbers? Where can you use the power and the focus of your mind to develop something inside of your life that will benefit you? Like we were talking about earlier, real estate, if that's your thing, then, examine properties, crunch the numbers, find out if that's going to cash flow for you. And then the last thing is supplement where needed. So when we talk about treating the mind like a weapon, obviously there are dietary nutrients that we are lacking that we can feed our body that will help improve the cognitive function and how we function inside of our lives. You guys, the mind is the absolute strongest tool that you have inside of your life. It'll be the number one thing that will take you to the top or keep you at the bottom. We have to take care of our minds. That's our mental state, our spiritual state, whatever that means for you inside of your life. And so that's why I created this. That's why I created Formula One. It's a supplement needed to help hone and train the mind and to give it what it needs. It's nutrients that we can't get in supplies just through a normal consumption of food. So that's it, guys. I just wanted to jump on here. Your mind is a weapon. It's a weapon. Treat it like one. All right, my friends, I will see you sometime soon. I don't know when I'm going to jump back on here, hopefully in a while. Good to connect with you guys. Thank you so much for watching. We will see yourself. Yeah, Jerry, surround yourself with mentors and like-minded people. That's huge. I mean, we can't really go anywhere. We can go, but it's extremely difficult to wade through the swamps of new territory if you don't have somebody to guide you and tell you where the high spots are. All right, I'll see you soon, guys. Later.